Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Feel Good Friday. I'm your host, Mrs. Mucklestead, and this week we're going to be talking about mental health. This is a quick overview of mental health. If you have more questions or want to do more research, please feel free to reach out to any of your teachers. So, what is mental health? It is our emotional, so what we feel, psychological, what we think or what goes on in our brain, and social well-being, so how we interact with other people, socialize. It's mental health is about feeling good in all those areas, feeling well, healthy, okay? This can affect obviously how we think, feel, and act, right? Those are all the components of mental health. So obviously our mental health is going to affect how we feel, how we think, or how we act with other people or toward ourselves. Mental health can also help us handle stress, have relationships with other people, and make choices that are healthy for us too. So you can see on this diagram, there's a guy in the middle, and all these different parts of his life are affected by his mental health. So then, if that's what mental health is, feeling good in those areas, what is mental illness? It'd be the opposite, right? The opposite of health is being sick. So if you have a mental illness, it's when you're not feeling well emotionally, psychologically, or socially. So in one of those areas, you don't feel good, as in maybe some of your emotions are out of control, you can't quite control them. Maybe you're experiencing thoughts that you don't feel like you have control over, or maybe you're in some unhealthy relationships or not able to interact with other people in a socially appropriate way. Now, mental illness is not something to be embarrassed about. Okay, many people all over the world experience mental illness. Things like depression or anxiety or bipolar. There are many cases of this, and people, many of them can go on to live their lives in great and healthy ways with the right kinds of treatments. So similar to like if you had another sort of sickness, like a heart disease or an injury of some sort, you could go to the doctor and ask their help for treatment or what you should do. Sometimes we can take care of sickness in more small ways on our own at home, like we kind of know how to get over a cold. So there's different strategies people can use to help with their mental illness at home. But it's nothing to be embarrassed about because it's just like any other medical condition where you can seek treatment for that or help it improve in some way. Some examples of mental illness are depression, bipolar disorder, anxiety, phobias. So if you have heard of some of those, maybe these are ringing a bell. If not, feel free to research them, look up more about them. These are just examples of types of illnesses people can have that deal with the brain and mental health. So how they feel emotionally, psychologically, or socially. So let's talk more specifically about your mental health. What does that look like? If someone's mentally healthy, there is balance. So being mentally healthy doesn't just mean you're happy all the time. Balance means you're able to take all these emotions and balance them out well and regulate them or control them or be able to change and be in control of your thoughts and feelings. Mental health is also being able to manage stress. So if you feel stressed out, that's normal. Everyone's going to experience stress, but then being able to manage that and put it to work or help you move forward through it. Mental health is also achieving your potential. So if you feel mentally healthy, it's going to be way easier to do your best on the test or reach your goals or work on that creative project you've been wanting to do. If you're worried about all these social, emotional, or psychological problems, these thoughts coming in, emotions taking over your life, it's going to be harder to do your best on things like school or even your hobbies. Mental health also looks like being able to cope with hard things. So similar to what I was just talking about, things that are difficult to do, like stressful things or when hard things in life happen, because they're going to happen. It's okay to feel sad about them or angry or frustrated, but then mentally healthy people are able to cope with them and move forward in their life. So there's ways to handle those feelings and emotions. Mental health is also feeling good about yourself. So if you look at this background, you can see there's lots of things that could influence your mental health. So there could be thoughts coming in or emotions you feel when you see a certain number of likes on your photo. So that's not as mentally healthy as just feeling good about yourself from the start and getting your mental health from yourself and not letting these outside factors like messages and social media and likes on your posts determine your thoughts and feelings. So keep in mind that just because you may not have a mental illness, so I know a lot of us don't have depression or anxiety or haven't been diagnosed with that. Some of us have, some of us do have a mental illness, others of us don't, but that doesn't mean that you are mentally healthy, okay? So even if you don't have a mental illness like a diagnosis of depression or anxiety or bipolar or whatever, okay, there are still ways that you might not feel very mentally healthy. So you might feel really stressed out about stuff and can't control your stress, or you feel like when you get a bad grade on a test, like your whole world is destroyed and you go into like bad behaviors, things like that. Or maybe you have a lot of negative or unhealthy relationships in your life and you don't know how to get out of them or how to have healthy ones. Okay, those are ways that mental unhealth can show up in your life. So we want to give you tools to be mentally healthy and have balance and manage your stress and achieve your potential and be able to feel good about yourself and who you are. So for your digital journal entry today, so this is that same writing assignment where you're journaling every day. On Fridays, you're going to reflect on our Feel Good Friday episode. So today's episode is all about mental health. And so in your digital journal today, I want you to answer these 3 questions. Number 1, what does it mean to be mentally healthy? Number 2, if you don't have a mental illness, does that automatically mean you are mentally healthy? Explain. So that's kind of what I just talked about. And 3, do you feel mentally healthy right now? Why or why not? And you can explain that as much or as little as you need to, but you do need to answer all 3 questions and put that in your digital journal entry for today. Feel free to look back at these slides for any of the answers or to help you form your answers. Thanks, and I hope you feel good on this Friday.